What's up everyone, my name is Marie, welcome to my channel and welcome to another speed build. So for today's video, I am working on a retro inspired family home in the world of Copperdale, which is of course the world that came with the high school years expansion pack. And it was so much fun to be back here. I haven't actually built in this world in a very long time for some reason. I think the last time I built here was actually when I built a high school. I've done 2 high school builds in total, one when the pack first came out and then one later on, which was I think last fall when I was doing my Gilmore Girls builds, and I worked on Stars Hollow High School, which I built on the high school lot as well. There's only one, but it's here in Copperdale, and I think that's the last time I actually built in this world. And I love Copperdale. I think it's really pretty, and I actually do think it is perfect, especially this area here up on that sort of hill area, I guess. It's very foresty. And this, I feel like, is the perfect area for more retro or mid-century modern type houses, I feel like. I know when you first get the pack and when you first load into this world, it doesn't really have any retro or mid-century modern inspired houses. But I feel like a 70s sort of inspired bungalow or one-story home would be perfect in this area. And I at first wasn't actually sure where I wanted to build this, because whenever it comes to this style of house, I usually land in Oasis Springs, which is the perfect world for this style of house. But I kind of didn't want that deserty vibe. I wanted something a little bit more foresty. And then someone in chat on Twitch, when I was building this over on Twitch, or when we were, you know, like getting inspired to build this and thinking of where to build it, someone actually suggested Copperdale, and I thought that was such a good idea. So I landed here on this particular lot that has the most beautiful view over the pier with the carnival and stuff like that. Like, it's such a fun lot. So I was really excited, and I don't think I've ever done a retro inspired house in this area specifically either. So it was really fun to sit down and do that, and I just felt so inspired for this house for some reason. Retro or mid-century, whatever you want to call it, is just my favorite thing to do in The Sims for some reason. I just think it's so much fun. There is something so fun about just a good one-story house. I just really love building these, and I just can get so inspired. And especially with the new pack, with the new Businesses and Hobbies expansion pack, that pack comes with a lot of cool elements that really work well for particularly this style of home. There's really good wallpapers. There's obviously really good furniture as well that works. And so I was just having a lot of fun and feeling very excited to actually use those items in this specific style for my build. So I was very, very excited about that. And so that's what I'm sharing with you all here today. And for this one in particular, I did have a picture that I was looking at for reference, but I actually literally immediately let go of it already, because the way it looked in the sketch, like with the roofing, it was really cool, but in The Sims, it just looked really weird and it wasn't really working out. So the inspiration picture was just something to get me started, but not something I actually followed along or something that it actually ended up looking like at all. And I really prefer building that way. I sometimes think it's a lot of fun to kind of copy something one-on-one in the game and see how close you can get. But for this particular one, it was just really nice to have sort of like a shape for a bungalow or one-story build to get me started, because sometimes I struggle with those specifically to make it look a little bit more interesting. When you have multiple stories, it's easier to, you know, make the shape of the house look more interesting. In my opinion, for me personally, that's the case anyway. And for bungalows, sometimes I need a little bit of inspiration just shape-wise to make it look a little bit more interesting. And I actually really, really like this one. It really also focuses on the back. There are some really nice windows in the back as well for the living room, and because you have that beautiful view like over the pier, of course, which is just the unique selling point of this lot, I want to say. Like, that is just perfect, so I wanted to make use of that. The house actually does take up most of the space here on this lot, so I didn't really have a lot of space left for a lot of backyard activities. There's not a whole lot of outdoorsy activities here at all. There is a small back porch where I place like a table, and we also have a grill. I also placed down a few planter boxes, so there is that. But then for the rest, it's just landscaping. So if you want to go through and add more activities for the backyard, I completely understand. But it wasn't really something I was focusing on for this one anyway. So it's fine. And I did have a lot of fun with the landscaping, trying to blend it in with the surrounding area. I think for the landscaping, I ended up using mainly just high school years debug or live edit, and also some base game live edit and debug as well, obviously. But yeah, that's mainly all I used for the landscaping. This is not a limited pack build by any means, because I really was trying to embrace the like 70s vibe of it all. So I was trying to use anything and everything from whatever pack I could get my hands on that would kind of reflect that style. So that's what I was going for. I'm using a lot of Get Famous naturally, because that comes just with a lot of retro items that just work perfectly. Also color scheme wise, it has my all-time favorite front door that here for this house, I'm actually using in a bright orange. I don't think I've ever used that swatch before, and it's definitely out there. But chat over on Twitch when I was building this actually kind of challenged me to use that orange swatch. At first I was gonna do like the brown one, and then for a little while I think I landed on black, like all black. I thought that was really cool. And then also the like green and brown one, I thought that was fun. And then chat was like, no, listen, you have to use, if you truly want to embrace the 70s of it all, you're gonna have to use the orange swatch. So I actually just used it, and I was really scared at first. I was like, this is so orange. I hate it. And then it started to grow on me. I think it's so classic. The orange is just amazing. I kind of ended up using some more orangey tones on the inside as well. I had so much fun with this color scheme. I want to say the retro colors is just like, at the moment, and it has been like this for a while, but at the moment, that's definitely like my favorite type of color palette when it comes to not even just interiors and like decorations, but also just clothes and stuff in general. Not right now. Like right now, I'm literally just wearing a black sweater, like a Taylor Swift sweater. What can I say? But I just love the darker, richer colors, like the tones of colors when it comes to like a retro color scheme, you know what I mean? And the new pack Businesses and Hobbies actually comes with some really good wallpapers in that exact color scheme. So I'm using a lot of greens on the inside, but I think I also ended up using some orange. There's also some blue. Obviously I had to go for a more like orangey wood floor in the house as well. I also ended up using a lot of carpet. I thought that would be perfect for this one. So yeah, that's what we ended up doing. And it's just my favorite house I've done in a while, because this is just every time I end up building a retro home, I end up realizing that yes, this is still my favorite thing. This is still my favorite style to do in The Sims, like to build in The Sims. So yeah, had a lot of fun with it. I think it goes without any further explanation because I sound like a broken record, but you know what I mean. So the new pack really came in handy, and actually what kickstarted this build, I will take you on this road, because what kickstarted this build over on Twitch is when we were talking about kits, because when I was building this, we had just gotten the new bathroom, the sleek bathroom kit, and then also the Create a Sim kit. They're both so gorgeous. I love them so much. I actually didn't end up using the bathroom kit for this one. I was gonna do like a whole like renovated house at first. I thought maybe it'd be fun to have like a 70s house that somehow has just a completely renovated new bathroom, but I actually didn't end up doing that. It could have been fun, but it's not what I ended up doing. So when we were talking about kits, someone asked me what my dream kit would be, or if the Sims team asked me what type of kit, like if they wanted to make a kit in collaboration with me. I don't know why they would do that, but you know, it'd be a dream though. My dream kit would definitely be a retro 70s decor living room kind of kit with all these types of colors. You can see that I'm using that, like obviously that bright orange front door, but then also this really dark green wallpaper, and then combined with the orangey wood floors, and then that cabinet that I'm using in the really rich, like dark wood tone. And I'm using a lot of blacks for accents in here as well. But that's sort of a kit where it's not retro when you think of, it's not the type of retro that comes with Get Famous. It's the type of retro that's like weird flowery patterns, bright but like darker colors, and like flowery curtains and weird rugs, and just kind of the, I guess, quote unquote, ugly retro items that you would find in a house from the 70s that just never ever since has been renovated. Like that type of stuff that you would find in a grandparent's house from the 70s. Like, I don't know how else to better explain it. We actually went down a rabbit hole on Pinterest because we were sort of looking for inspiration for a retro inspired home. And then I fell down a rabbit hole of interior sketches, not even pictures, but like actual sketches from like 70s types of interiors, and that was exactly the kind of stuff that I would want to find in that kit. So that's sort of what we were trying to represent here the best that we could in this house. You can see that green paneling that I'm using, which is from Businesses and Hobbies, and just absolutely perfect. And then combined with that deep like plum wallpaper color, which is also from the new pack, that is just absolutely perfect. And then the orangey wood tones, but then also that white brick from high school years was such a nice contrast for this one. I just really enjoyed brightening up the space a little bit with like a nice white brick. And I feel like that brick with like the darker, like the gray grout is just absolutely perfect for the style that I was trying to sort of accomplish here in this house. And I just had a blast. And yeah, so I definitely ended up using a lot of stuff from the new pack. I also ended up using a lot of stuff from Get Famous because it's just the closest to like actual retro that we have in the game. So obviously I ended up using some rugs from it, but also these dining chairs. And then for a fun accent, I actually used those bar stools from the new pack, which the wood tone doesn't really match anything, but I was totally okay with some more mismatched wood tones because I was definitely thinking of an older house that really hasn't been renovated much over the years, but obviously some furniture pieces have been swapped out, or maybe some furniture pieces like the wood color sort of like the color changed over time, you know, woods fade or like become darker or become more yellowish, like, so that sort of thing. It doesn't really matter to me that the wood tones don't really exactly match throughout this house. That was kind of giving it its personality, in my honest opinion. But yeah, I really like those bar stools and then that pattern on the seating. And I actually continued that throughout the house to sort of still make it blend together, I guess. So I'm also using a little bench in that same pattern. We're also using a chair in the living room in that same pattern as well. So it kind of all ties together nicely in all its chaos, if that makes sense. So yeah, I was just having a lot of fun with this. And then when it comes to the storyline for this house, we didn't really have a very detailed storyline, but I was definitely thinking of grandparents living in this house. So a couple of grandparents, and then they take care of their teenage grandkid. So the grandkid actually lives here, or maybe they sort of divide their time between their parents' house and their grandparents' house. Here in Copperdale, I thought that would be kind of fun, like a fun sort of storyline as well that you don't hear as much. So maybe they still live with their parents, but also with their grandparents. Maybe their parents, or maybe they live with a single parent and their parent is away a lot for work or whatever. Maybe they travel for work, and then whenever they're away for a while, the teenager stays here with their grandparents. So they do have a full-on, like, detailed bedroom with a bunch of clutter, and it basically looks like they live here. But in my brain for the storyline, I was thinking that they also live at home with probably their single parent that's away for, like, for work a lot. I was kind of thinking of that sort of a thing. And then that's really all there was to the storyline here. That's really all there was to it, because I was just having a lot of fun furnishing this and, like, coming up with the color scheme and trying to find different types of decorations and furniture pieces that would sort of embrace that retro or 70s style in a way. And one thing I actually was very excited about in this house is that I'm using the couch from the Casanova Cave kit. I haven't used that couch ever since it came out, and then I used it once for, like, an apartment when I was trying out the stuff and, like, looking at the kit when it first came out. And that couch is actually really perfect for this house, I want to say, especially in this like more orangey brown leather that I'm using. For a while, I changed the color to beige, but it was just a little bit too like tame for me, if I could put it that way. I really liked that orangey brown and I really wanted to embrace that type of color in here. So that's what I ended up doing. This rug from the new pack, I can't even begin to describe to you how perfect it is and how amazing it looks here with the green carpet that we're using as well. I just think it's so fun. And that item in that specific swatch, the rug with the yellow circles on it and the blue details, that's the closest, I guess, of an item when it comes to describing the sort of items and like the sorts of patterns that I would want in my hypothetical retro kit. You know, like that's the type of stuff that I want to see, but also weird flowery patterns. I think that would be really fun. Like, I guess, quote unquote, ugly flowery patterns. That would just be so much fun. I just, the idea of it, I really hope that we'll get a kit like that at some point. The Sims team can always call me. I would be happy to show them my Pinterest board. That is at this point full of pictures of like sketches of like interiors. That would be perfect. So yeah, that's kind of fun. And then here you can see that I was also thinking that this family would have a cat. I placed the largest cat tree I could find by the really beautiful larger windows in the living room as well. We have that really nice corner of like floor to ceiling, I guess, windows. I mean, we are playing with platforms in here. We have the classic sunken living room, obviously, so it's not floor to ceiling windows all the way, but you know what I mean. And then also we have a nice fireplace in here. I also used these little wall pieces that actually came with the sleek bathroom kit. I think those wall pieces were so perfect in here to sort of create a wall, I guess, or like a half wall that kind of sticks out behind the fireplace. I'm not sure if they will catch on fire when you actually light the fireplace because they are up against the fireplace, like really close. So I don't know if that would cause any issues gameplay wise. I don't know about that, to be honest. But I think it looks really cool, especially in that dark blue color. I felt like that was a really nice addition to the color scheme in here, even though there's already a lot going on. I feel like that dark blue still sort of feels like a neutral. So I ended up using that for a little accent, I guess half wall or something behind the fireplace wall. I thought that was really pretty. I also used the record player, which I think is also from the Casanova Cave kit, and it's perfect. That kit comes with a couple of items that are surprisingly perfect for a retro home. I kind of forgot about that. I'm sure I also noticed that when I first got my hands on the kit and when I was trying it out and using the items, but I kind of forgot about it because we get so many kits like back to back. I talked about this in my previous video as well when I did the apartment build where I used a different kit for each room. We got so many kits that I just kind of forget what's there, and I just like use it once to check it out when it first comes out, and then I just kind of forget about it because then there's already new ones coming out pretty much. That's what it feels like. It's a bit of an exaggeration, but you know what I mean. So yeah, I kind of completely forgot about the items from the Casanova Cave kit, to be honest, but they really worked out nicely in here. Then we only have one bathroom in this house. I felt like that was kind of fitting for an older house like this. So there's 2 bedrooms, potentially 3, but I turned one of them into an office. So we have 2 bedrooms, an office, and then 1 bathroom. So there's definitely room to grow in this house if you wanted to use it for your own gameplay. I feel like you could definitely live here with a family of like 2 parents and maybe even 3 kids, because the bedroom that I did for the teenager is pretty big, and I feel like especially with bunk beds, you could easily turn that into a shared bedroom for kids or teenagers or whatever. And then the smaller bedroom that I actually turned into an office for this one could easily be a cute nursery. Even like just like a full bedroom for a teenager, it would be kind of cramped, but you know, how much space do you really need in a bedroom? So it's definitely something that you could consider. But I started here with the main bedroom, and I love the color scheme that I ended up using in here. I chose to use these dark brown carpets, which came with the base game update a little while ago. It's actually the same carpet I used in the living room in green, but in a different swatch, obviously. So this brown carpet was just perfect, and I used a combination of a like dusty gray-ish pink, and then obviously the white exposed brick in this room as well. And then I felt like the dark blue bedding was absolutely perfect. I just really enjoy that dark blue color, kind of the same color as the little half walls in the living room, so that ties it together nicely. And then all the dark browns in here, I feel like this bedroom is just so nice and warm, and it just feels like a warm hug. I also really like the lights that I used on the nightstands in that brown and green swatch. It doesn't really match with the bed, but for some reason it still matches this room, I want to say. And then I also used a rug from Strangerville in there, which actually worked out perfectly. So I was really excited about that bedroom. And then for the teenager, I really wanted to do something nice and colorful, but also like very matchy-matchy. So I ended up going for this ochre, like sort of like mustard yellow. I'm not sure exactly. It's not like a mustard. It's more of like I'm not sure what you would call that yellow, like an ochre yellow. Is that a Dutch thing to say, or does that make sense in English as well? I'm not exactly sure. But I thought this yellow was so pretty, and I haven't used it yet. It's from the new pack, and I think it's a gorgeous color, especially combined with this blue furniture set from high school years. So I used a matching dresser, bed, and wardrobe in blue from the same set. And then I just ended up using some more like blue details wherever I could in this room. I also used some dark browns to kind of tone it down as well. But yeah, this is very matchy and just, you know, I feel like it kind of works for, even though the furniture set isn't necessarily very retro, I feel like the colors really work, and it still somehow ties into the rest of this house, I want to say. It's just like a little bit of a splash of color, and it doesn't really mix or blend with the rest of the color scheme. It's definitely its own thing, but you know, that makes sense for a kid's room or a teen's room, I want to say. So I actually had a lot of fun furnishing this one. It's a little bit more on the cluttered side, a little bit more on the messy side of things. But I really love these blue swatches. I don't think I've ever used the blue swatch of that dresser and that wardrobe before, but it worked out so nicely, especially combined with this yellow wallpaper that I absolutely love. I will definitely be using that color more. I just think it's so pretty. I just felt a little scared to use it before because, you know, it's definitely very much in your face, but it's such a cool like accent, and I just think it's a really gorgeous color. And then obviously I had to place some wall decorations in here. So we have a bunch of posters and some pictures on the wall. Then I was trying to find a fitting rug, and I actually landed on this really pretty one with a flowery pattern from high school years. I thought that was really fitting in here. And then they also have a desk. Floor plan wise, I don't know in real life if I would put the desk with the higher back, if I would put that up against the window, but it's just how it worked out here in this bedroom, and I feel like it's okay. I feel like in The Sims, it doesn't matter as much. In real life, I would never put furniture like this in front of a window, but I feel like in The Sims, it's okay. So I ended up doing that anyway, and then I placed some green blinds in here to just bring in a little bit of an extra color accent, I want to say. And then the last room in this house here is the very small and very dark office space that I actually really like. I really like how this one came together. So again, we have that dark brown carpet in here, and then I paired it with that really dark green wallpaper, the same one I'm using in the hallway. And then also some exposed brick, of course, but I really like that it's darker in this room. And I'm using the refined living room bookcase in here, which is just very basic and looks very modern, but I feel like in this warmer wood tone, it also works for a more like older retro type house. I feel like that just like, it really works well, and it looks like an older furniture piece the way I used it, I want to say. And then I feel like this desk also really works out. I think that's either high school years or Discover University. I'm not exactly sure. But for the rest, this room is really small. I just placed a family computer. It is the only computer in the house. And I just have some lamps and some artwork, and then that rug from City Living in that like tan-ish light brown color, the fluffy rug, I felt like was such a good addition for that room as well. And then here in the back is where we have the back porch, where I went for obviously an outdoor bin. We also have a grill, and then I put a table with an orange tablecloth out here, and then some green chairs. It's a little bit of a mismatch when it comes to the colors, but I feel like it just looks really, really fun. And then we have some planters, and then that's actually it. So let's jump into the game and I'll show you the house in real time. So here we have the house in the game. This lot is just something else. Look at that view in the back. There's a gorgeous view, honestly, from every angle on this lot. It's just on its own little island almost. Anyway, here we have the front of the house, and landscaping wise, I just tried to blend it in to the surrounding area with these bushes and rocks and flowers and whatnot. So it's definitely a little bit overgrown, which I feel like makes a lot of sense for an older house. In the back here is where we have that back porch with the grill and the dining area, and then some planter boxes for some gardening as well. And then over here is the front porch. I actually ended up placing a small wall-mounted mailbox over here, and then also a trash can out front here. And then here we have the floor plan of the house. So the bedrooms and the bathroom are all over on the left side, and then the living and kitchen and everything else is over here on the right. But first of all, we have the hallway over here. So the entrance, I really like this rug, this corner rug from Get Famous. It was perfect for this area. There's some storage over here, a nice mirror, some decorations, and then also a cat tree in purple with some flowers. I just thought that that was really fitting. And then through this archway is basically where you just enter right into the kitchen first. Kitchen and dining, I should say. These base game counters I feel like worked really nicely for the style I was going for and also for the color scheme. So I ended up choosing these base game ones. We have some more outdated looking appliances in this kitchen as well, which obviously I did that on purpose. And also some decorations. There's the really cute family recipe book in here as well. A china cabinet that is very fitting for the style, and then on a diagonal here is where we have the dining table that brings in some green into the space. And then over here is the food area for the cat, a bookcase, and then the sliding glass door to the back porch as well. Then over here we have the sunken living room. I love this green carpet and then just the color scheme for this room in general. I know I used a lot of different colors, but all sort of within the same intensity, I want to say. So that's why I feel like it still kind of works. I love the combination of this couch and this love seat. And then I use the blue throw pillow to kind of tie it back into the rug. That orange lamp is just really, really perfect. And then also a matching chair here to the love seat as well. So it brings back that pattern. There's a small record player over here and then a little game area. I thought that would be cute. So I just placed a small like breakfast table here and then a lot of board games. Obviously had to go for the largest cat tree I could find, so I did that. And there's a really cool bookcase over here with some decorations. And then moving over to the other side of the house, first of all here is where we have the bathroom. I really enjoyed using this shower tub combo from Parenthood in this swatch. I just felt like that was so fitting. And then for the rest, it's just a very basic, a little bit of an outdated bathroom. The smallest room here is the office. I love the colors in here. This rug just works perfectly for this space, and I really like the bookcase in this particular swatch as well. It's such a moody but like calming office space. Next to the office is the teens room, which is very messy. We have sort of like an explosion of colors and patterns in here, which is exactly what I was going for. So we have a desk here with just a bunch of decorations, a really cool blue wardrobe, and some extra storage here on the side next to the door, a bookcase, a bed, and then a matching dresser with a bunch of knickknacks and a lot of posters. I think this is my favorite room of the house. But then also I really like this room and how it's sort of a mismatch of colors and patterns, but it still really works together. This is the main bedroom. I love this dark blue bed from Businesses and Hobbies. It's so pretty. These round nightstands from Book Nook were perfect, and then these lights, I feel like that is perfect for a retro house, and it sort of ties back into the rug as well. A small dresser here with some knickknacks, and that mirror from the sleek bathroom kit was perfect for the room as well. And then a couple of taller wardrobes here against the wall as well. But that is basically it for this house. So this retro family home is up on the gallery. It uses a bunch of packs. I did not limit myself whatsoever, but it's weirdly not that expensive. It's only just over 64,000 simoleons. I thought it was going to be way more expensive than that. There is a glitched window in the gallery thumbnail, so that's a little bit unfortunate. But yeah, I built it on a 30 by 20 in the world of Copperdale, so if you want to place it in your game, then that's where it goes. But that's going to do it for today's video, so I really hope that you enjoyed this one. You can obviously go ahead and download this build off the gallery like I just showed you. My username on the gallery is SimmerySims. You can follow me on Instagram if you'd like. My username on there is SimmerySims as well. If you're not subscribed to my channel already, feel free to do so, and if you'd like to get notified every single time I upload, just click that bell icon. I also live stream over on Twitch a few times a week, so if you're interested in that, go ahead and give me a follow over on twitch.tv/SimmerySims. So I just want to say thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye!